see Mike early landing his jab right there that really knocked Jake back. I think that's his most effective punch of the round. But then we see, the right hand grazes Mike Tyson by Jake Paul. That would have been a good shot had it been on the chin. So
Mike Tyson just revealed the truth about the Jake Paul fight, and it's as dramatic as expected. The man known for shattering heavy bags with gunshot-like punches steps into the ring looking surprisingly tame. Those brutal hooks, missing. That legendary power, dialed down to gentle sparring mode. Something doesn't add up, and Tyson's revelations might explain why.
Jake Paul landed a beautiful jab with right hand first, right there, and knocked Mike off balance 2 times. And Mike was highly off balance right there. I don't like how his legs look. Yeah, something wrong with the mouth skill.
That affects his oxygen intake.
Tyson's punches, once infamous for making opponents question their life choices, looked more like friendly pats on Jake Paul. The man who used to turn fighters into memes before memes even existed couldn't finish a YouTuber with just 11 fights. Suspicious? Absolutely. But now Tyson has spilled the beans, and trust me, his explanation is juicier than anything trending on X this week.
Tyson people talk to. People are there's certain people that are just crazy, man.
Well, these people that think that he don't stand a chance against Jake Paul, they're like, this shouldn't even because he's too old. I was like, I think you're crazy.
Well, they're definitely uninformed.
Yeah,
because here's the thing: he is 57 years old. He will be 58 when they fight. He has had a long fighting career. He has been knocked out by massive men like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. You know, he's had a lot of blows. And he's also doing this very unique kind of training with electrical muscular stimulation.
Joe Rogan, the voice of modern combat sports, didn't hold back while discussing the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight on his podcast. Rogan called it surreal to see a 58-year-old Tyson in the ring with a YouTuber turned boxer. While he acknowledged Jake's youthful energy and improving skills, he couldn't ignore Tyson's diminished speed and power. Mike still has that head movement, Rogan remarked, but the punches aren't what they used to be. Despite Tyson's legendary status, Rogan noted that this wasn't the unstoppable force fans remember. In the end, Jake may have won, but it wasn't a classic Tyson performance.
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong. You know, you guys know the whole story about Shark Week, and you know, if you don't, I begged him not to do the Roy Jones fight. You're too old. I love you. I don't want to see you take any more punishment. So I set him up on Shark Week. He got paid good money. And he's like, you fucking... So he almost flipped out the last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, this fucking asshole says that, you know, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12. And he throws me in the ocean with a bunch of sharks. He was right about that, too. But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this kid's gonna do anything?
Dana White just made a shocking admission. Mike Tyson was right. He was wrong about the Jake Paul fight. White initially begged Tyson not to fight Roy Jones Jr., citing his age, yet somehow didn't see Jake Paul as a real threat. The irony? Tyson didn't need to knock Paul out. He just had to show up, collect a paycheck, and remind everyone that when Mike's involved, everyone gets paid. At nearly 60, Tyson didn't just box Jake Paul. He took on the entire system, proving once again that his presence alone is a moneymaker. So the next time you settle in for a hyped-up sporting event, remember, it might look like a fight, but it's probably just a payday dressed in boxing gloves. Tyson always plays the long game.
Fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few years ago. Now this script has went viral. Let's see how accurate it was. Opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened. As soon as the bell went, Mike Tyson came out with that head movement, pushing forward. Immediately he stalks forward with his signature bob and wave style. Now let me just stop right there. Even before I sing this script, that's exactly what was going to happen. Like, what else would happen? Would Mike Tyson come out?
Everyone hoped to see Mike Tyson deliver a vintage knockout, but let's be real. This isn't the Tyson of the 80s. And Jake Paul. He didn't knock Tyson out, not for lack of trying, but because charging a 58-year-old master of counterpunching is a risk he wasn't willing to take. Instead, Paul played it safe, won on points, and added, "I beat Mike Tyson" to his resume. Was the fight scripted? Nope. If it was, they needed better writers because this bout lacked drama or surprises. Believe what you will, but here's the reality. Tyson walked away $20 million richer, Paul added another win in his record, and boxing purists are left mourning the sport's glory days while clutching their vintage fight posters. Welcome to boxing in the influencer era.
Many are upset over the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, with some people claiming that it was rigged because many people bet a lot of money and they lost a lot of money. Allegedly, there's this script that got leaked showing how the fight was supposed to go down between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. This was actually covered by World Star Hip Hop. So let's read this alleged script and see how the fight was supposed to go down. So round one was supposed to go like this. The opening bell rings and Tyson, showing flashes of his old form, immediately stalks forward with his signature bobbin.
Mike Tyson just dropped a bombshell on the Jake Paul fight, and people are calling it a glorified script, not a real boxing match. Allegedly, elite script outlined every jab, punch, and dramatic stumble, resembling a poorly written reality show. Tyson came out in round one with his classic bob and weave, while Paul looked like he was running laps to avoid doing chores. The drama feels more staged and spontaneous. A few punches land, but surprise, Paul's youth keeps him ahead. In round two, Tyson lands a body shot so clean it makes the crowd gasp. Meanwhile, Paul, the marathon runner, bounces around like fatigue is just a myth, keeping his pace.
Ring cautiously, Tyson lands a few jabs, but Paul's youth shows in his superior ability. Paul connects with a quick 1-2 combination before retreating. Tyson's timing appears slightly off, his punches a fraction slower than his prime. Round two, Tyson comes alive, cutting off the ring more effectively. He lands a thunderous left hook to Paul's body that draws a collective gasp from the crowd. Paul weathers the storm, using his reach advantage to pepper Tyson with long.
By round three, Paul's confidence soars as he lands punches like a seasoned pro, while Tyson's head movement starts to slow. In round four, Tyson looks fatigued and Paul's clean shots keep landing, turning the fight into a highlight reel of Jake's footwork. Finally, in round five, Paul lands a perfectly timed combo, sending Tyson to the canvas. The 10 count hits and Paul wins by knockout. The crowd is left questioning if they just witnessed a real fight or Broadway play. While Tyson didn't explicitly say the fight was rigged, it's clear this wasn't pure boxing, but more scripted drama than a competitive bout.
Like I expected it to be.
What is your assessment of Jake Paul, the boxer?
A very good fighter.
Do you think he deserves respect from the public?
Absolutely.
Hey, that was a good slap. I like that.
Apparently, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation couldn't risk a real fight, so Tyson and Paul turned their bout into a sparring session with a dash of drama. Tyson claimed it was all about giving fans a show, but what they got was a watered-down version of boxing. Both fighters agreed not to go too hard on each other. No knockdowns, no knockouts, just two guys playing tag in front of a paying audience. Tyson even confessed to carrying Jake Paul, explaining that the YouTuber-turned-boxer needed help to look good in the ring. Of course, Tyson had his reasons. He revealed that earlier in the year, he had been through a near-death experience, losing half his blood and undergoing 8 transfusions. While that explained his lackluster performance, it didn't do much to ease the disappointment of fans who felt cheated by the whole spectacle.
At any point, did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you knew he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the fans a show.
Tony Bellew called the fight a circus and urged everyone to boycott Jake Paul until he faces someone who isn't eligible for a senior discount. Terrence Crawford and Gervonta Davis also weighed in, with Davis calling Paul a bozo for failing to finish a 58-year-old Tyson. Meanwhile, Paul, ever the showman, expressed his delight over the win and hinted at fighting Tyson's brother next, proving once again that he's hopping from one scripted spectacle to another. This fight didn't prove much, except that boxing is willing to sell its soul for a payday. Tyson may still be a legend, but this match felt more like reality TV than real boxing. As for Jake, the self-proclaimed problem child is still waiting for a real problem to face him in the ring.
I don't know what pleasure you can take from beating an old Mike Tyson.
I believe he actually won the first 2 rounds. Jake Paul probably won the rest of them. Mike Tyson's legs were gone, man. They were gone. And I believe Ryan, I got to give Ryan credit on this one, man. Because Ryan from Sports Wars, he did say that there would be like a no knockout.
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, because apparently the pinnacle of boxing now involves a 58-year-old legend facing a YouTuber turned boxer. The match, a true masterpiece of absurdity, had fans expecting a nostalgic Tyson blitz, but instead, they got a glorified sparring session. Tyson bobbed and weaved for about 30 seconds before his legs waved the white flag. Jake Paul, 31 years his junior, managed to win in a fight many believe was choreographed tighter than a Broadway show.
What did you think of the fight?
It wasn't a good one.
It wasn't a good one. No. Yeah. Overall, how'd you just see how Jake fought and how Mike fought?
Well, you know, you can tell something was wrong with Tyson leg, so he couldn't. His balance was off.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that. I just talked to his trainer and he told me that exact thing.
Yeah.
His balance was off.
The balance was off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Critics quickly cried scripted as leaked details eerily matched the play-by-play, with Mike Tyson failing to throw the punches he once did. Many believe he was likely contractually restrained from delivering a knockout blow to Jake Paul. Even former champions like Evander Holyfield questioned the legitimacy of the fight, wondering if Tyson was set up to lose. Sure, Jake Paul has some skills, but let's not crown him a boxing savant just yet for beating a man older than some of his own jokes. Netflix hyped the event to the moon, only to deliver lagging streams, leaving fans with a fight that felt more like an awkward backyard scuffle between father and son. Tyson's fans, clinging to memories of his prime, watched their hero reduced to biting his gloves instead of opponents. The fight wasn't a clash of titans. It was a corporate cash grab wrapped in disappointment, leaving boxing purists longing for the sport's lost dignity.
He still might chase Jake around the ring like that.
Again, these are 2-minute rounds. Tyson requested the 2-minute rounds, wanting to see more action. He just landed the overhand right, testing the beard of Paul.
Here we see Mike early, land this jab right there that really knocked Jake back. I think that's his most effective punch of the round. But then we see, the right hand grazes Mike Tyson by Jake Paul. That would have been a good shot had it been on the chin. So Mike takes that one. I don't like Mike's legs at 58 though.
The first round he's won in more than 2 decades.
Yeah, I don't like Mike's legs.
Mike Tyson just exposed the Jake Paul spectacle, and it's a revelation. Jake's big plan to fight Tyson had his dad in tears, probably from laughter. At 58, Tyson came out swinging, but let's be honest, it was more for show than a knockout. The 2-minute rounds Tyson requested seemed designed to minimize cardio, and Jake stumbled around, landing punches that might have been lethal if Tyson were made of foam.
And a good right hand to the body after the jab, lay the jab there and do a good right to the body. Push Mike off balance again, but Mike wasn't ready for it. You don't like to see those kind of punches land because that tells you that his reflexes are off and not what they used to be.
To us tonight, can find out sometime. But in terms of Jake Paul, you're right, Roy. He's turning into a boxer.
Yeah. Oh, good shot.
And again, the left hook.
Good shot by Mike.
By round 3, Jake Paul is acting like he's fighting prime Tyson. Spoiler alert, he's not. He lands a jab or two, pushes Mike off balance, and pretends this isn't the sport's equivalent of a reality show plot twist. Tyson lands a few left hooks to remind everyone who he is, but his reflexes are slower, and it's obvious. Jake's corner yells for him to use the jab, hoping to turn this into Ali Frazier, but instead, we get Jake throwing soft punches while Tyson looks like he's wrestling ghosts from the 80s. The fight ends with both fighters hugging it out, as if this wasn't a carefully staged money grab.